I never thought sXXing my boyfriend in a mall service stairwell would trigger fire alarms, lock us in, and force an evacuation of the entire shopping center, but here we are. I'm a 34-year-old retail manager in Atlanta, and this is the story of how one Saturday evening of looking for privacy in what seemed like a forgotten stairwell turned into a security incident that got us fined, banned, and gossiped about for months. Paul and I had been together 2 years when this happened. We met through a dating app. Both of us were in our early 30s. Both tired of the bar scene. Both looking for something real. He's a lawyer. Corporate litigation. Long hours. High stress. I manage a department store in one of Atlanta's major malls. Also long hours. Also high stress. We bonded over work complaints and exhaustion. Found we had similar sense of humor. Similar values. Similar goals. Started dating seriously within months. By year 2 we were settled. Comfortable. Living together. Talking about engagement. Things were good. Stable. But maybe a little routine. We'd fallen into patterns. Work. Home. Takeout. TV. Repeat. Nothing wrong with it exactly. Just not exciting. Not spontaneous like early relationship days. We both felt it. Both wanted to recapture some of that initial spark. That Saturday in November, Paul suggested we go out. Do something different. Dinner at the mall maybe. Then shopping. Then drinks. Make a night of it. I agreed. Got dressed up. Met him at the mall around 7. Had dinner at a nice restaurant on the top floor. Good food. Good wine. Good conversation. Felt like early dating again. That connection. That attention to each other instead of just coexisting. After dinner we walked around. The mall was busy. Saturday night crowd. Families. Teenagers. Couples like us. Paul suggested we find somewhere quieter. Somewhere we could talk without shouting over the noise. I agreed. We wandered. Looked for secluded spots. Found a service corridor. Doors marked employees only. One was propped open. Probably staff taking smoke break. We looked at each other. Smiled. Slipped through. The stairwell was concrete and utilitarian. Gray walls. Metal railings. Harsh fluorescent lights. Nothing romantic about it. But it was quiet. Empty. Private. We started climbing. Just walking. Talking. Laughing about being somewhere we weren't supposed to be. The mild transgression made it feel adventurous. Exciting. Like we were breaking rules together. On the 3rd floor landing, Paul stopped. Pulled me close. Kissed me. I kissed back. His hands on my waist. Mine on his shoulders. The kissing got more intense. More passionate. We'd been together 2 years, but this felt new. Different. The location added edge. Added excitement. Made everything feel more charged. We kept going. Hands wandering. Breathing heavy. Started removing some clothes. The stairwell seemed completely abandoned. No sounds except our breathing and the distant hum of the mall ventilation system. We felt safe. Hidden. In our own private world. Started sXXing right there on the landing. Against the wall. On the concrete floor. Lost in each other. Lost in the moment. Then the alarm. Loud piercing siren. Echoing off concrete walls. Amplified in the enclosed space. Deafening. We jumped apart. Looked around wildly. What was happening? Fire alarm. Had to be. The stairwell was the fire escape. That's why it was concrete. Fireproof. Built for emergencies. And now there was an emergency. Or the system thought there was. Lights started flashing. Red strobing lights. Making everything look like a horror movie. We tried to get dressed. Fumbling with clothes. Hands shaking from adrenaline and panic. The alarm kept screaming. Kept flashing. Making it impossible to think. To process. To figure out what to do. Paul tried the door. The one we'd come through. Pulled on it. Wouldn't open. Pushed. Pulled. Nothing. It was locked. Automatically sealed when alarm triggered. Fire code. Keep smoke contained. Keep fire from spreading. But also keep us trapped. We ran up to the next floor. Tried that door. Also locked. Down to the floor below. Locked. All of them. We were sealed in the stairwell. Tried phones. No signal. Concrete and metal blocking everything. Not even emergency calls would go through. We were completely cut off. Trapped in a stairwell. Alarms blaring. Lights flashing. No way out. No way to communicate. Just us in mounting panic. Voice came over loudspeaker. Crackling and barely audible over the alarm. Announcing evacuation. Everyone needed to leave the building immediately. Unspecified emergency. Follow evacuation procedures. Staff directing people to exits. Stay calm. The whole mall was being cleared. Because of us. Because we'd somehow triggered this. Oh God. We sat on the steps. Covered our ears. Waited. What else could we do? Couldn't escape. Couldn't stop the alarm. Just had to wait for someone to come. For security to find us. For this nightmare to end. The waiting felt eternal. The alarm drilling into our skulls. The lights giving us headaches. Both of us terrified about what would happen when doors finally opened. 20 minutes later heard footsteps. Heavy boots. Multiple people. Coming up from below. Security. Had to be. Voices over radios. Coordinating. Searching the building. Found the trapped civilians. That was us. The doors. We stood up. Tried to look presentable. Tried to prepare for whatever came next. Door opened. Manual release. Security guard standing there. Middle-aged man. Uniform. Radio. Very stern expression. He looked at us. Really looked at us. At our disheveled clothes. Our flushed faces. Our guilty expressions. He knew. Immediately knew. What we'd been doing. Why we were there. His face went from stern to disgusted. Asked for IDs. We handed them over with shaking hands. He called it in. Gave our information. Confirmed the stairwell was clear. No fire. No emergency. Just trespassers. Just us. More security arrived. Supervisor. Older woman. She looked even more disappointed than the first guard. Started asking questions. What were we doing there? How'd we get in? Did we realize we'd triggered building evacuation? Did we understand the seriousness? Equals. We tried to explain. Tried to apologize. But there was no good explanation. We'd trespassed. We'd been sXXing in a fire escape. We'd somehow triggered alarms. Caused building evacuation. Interrupted business. Created chaos. There was no spinning that positively. No excuse that made it acceptable. They escorted us down. Through the now empty mall. All the stores closed. All the shoppers gone. Just security and cleaning staff. Everyone staring at us. Everyone knowing we were the reason for evacuation. The walk of shame through the empty mall felt endless. Felt like everyone's eyes were burning into us. Judging us. Knowing what we'd done. Got to security office. Had to sit. Answer more questions. Give statements. They showed us the camera footage. Grainy security video of us entering the stairwell. Moving up out of frame. Motion sensors tracking us. That's what triggered the alarm. Motion in fire escape during business hours. System interpreted as emergency. Initiated full evacuation protocol. All because of us. Said we'd receive formal citations. Mall would be pressing charges for trespassing. For endangering public safety. For costs associated with false alarm. Could face thousands in fines. Could face criminal charges. Could face lawsuit from businesses who lost revenue during evacuation. The consequences kept piling up. Each one worse than the last. Finally let us go. Around midnight. Gave us papers. Court dates. Fines to pay. Permanent ban from mall property. Said if we showed up again they'd arrest us for criminal trespass. We left through employee entrance. Got to Paul's car. Sat there in shock. Too overwhelmed to even drive yet. Just processing the magnitude of our mistake. The drive home was silent. Both of us replaying everything. The alarm. The panic. The trapped feeling. The security guards. The evacuation. All of it. Paul dropped me off. Didn't come in. Said he needed to be alone. Process this. I understood. Went inside. Took a shower. Went to bed. Didn't sleep. Just lay there in darkness thinking about what we'd done. What it would cost. Monday morning got a call. Mall administration. Formal notification of charges. Trespassing. $2,500 fine. Plus share of evacuation costs. Another $1,800. Over $4,000 total. Money we didn't have saved. Would have to figure out payments. Would have to explain to bank why we needed the money. More shame. More consequences. Word got out at work. Don't know how. Someone saw the evacuation. Connected dots. Rumors spread. By Tuesday, everyone at my store knew. Knew it was me. Knew what happened. People were talking. Whispering. Some thought it was funny. Some thought it was awful. All had opinions. All felt entitled to share them. I wanted to quit. Wanted to disappear. Wanted to be anywhere else. Paul was dealing with similar at his firm. Someone found out. Probably court filing was public record. His colleagues found it. Started making jokes. Started sending emails with subject lines about fire safety. About proper behavior in public buildings. He was humiliated. Angry. Embarrassed. Started blaming them all. Blaming security. Blaming everyone except us. We fought about it. I said we were responsible. We chose to go in there. Chose to take that risk. He said they overreacted. Said evacuation wasn't necessary. Said they were covering their asses legally. I said that didn't matter. Said consequences were fair. Said we needed to accept responsibility. He disagreed. We couldn't find common ground. The fights got worse. More frequent. About more than just the mall. About judgment. About values. About who we were as people. The incident had exposed differences we'd papered over. Had shown us things about each other we didn't like. Made us question compatibility. 3 months later we were barely speaking. Living together but like roommates. Avoiding each other. Avoiding the topic. Avoiding processing what happened. Both miserable. Both stubborn. Both unable to admit defeat and either fix it or end it. Finally had a real conversation. Late night. Both exhausted from fighting. From tension. From carrying this weight. Paul admitted he'd been defensive because he felt guilty. Because he'd suggested going out. Because he'd kissed me first in the stairwell. Because he felt responsible for everything that followed. I admitted I'd been angry because I was scared. Scared we'd lost something. Scared we couldn't recover. Scared this would always be between us. Talking helped. Actually talking instead of fighting. Listening instead of defending. We both apologized. Both took responsibility. Both committed to working through it. To therapy if needed. To rebuilding trust. To moving forward together instead of letting this destroy us. 6 months after the mall we were better. Had paid the fines. Had finished court-mandated community service. Had completed our ban period though we never went back to that mall. Found new places to shop. New routines. New ways of being together that didn't involve risk or transgression or excitement that could turn to disaster. Year later we were stronger. The crisis had forced us to really communicate. To be honest about feelings and fears and needs. To build something more solid than just comfortable routine or artificial excitement. We got engaged. Small proposal at home. Nothing public. Nothing risky. Just us and a ring and a promise to keep choosing each other. Now it's been almost 2 years. We're married. Own a house. Building a life. The mall incident is a story we tell occasionally. To close friends. With self-deprecating humor. About our stupidity. Our luck that it wasn't worse. Our growth since then. It's part of our history. Not proud of it but not ashamed anymore either. Just accepting it as the mistake that taught us what we needed to learn. I never go in mall stairwells now. Never even think about it. The memory is too strong. Too visceral. The alarm. The panic. The shame. All of it. I stick to elevators. To main thoroughfares. To spaces where I'm supposed to be. Where there's no risk of tripping alarms or triggering evacuations or causing chaos. That's what I learned. About boundaries. About consequences. About the price of thoughtless excitement. And I carry those lessons into every choice. Every risk assessment. Every moment where impulse suggests I do something questionable. I pause. Remember. Choose differently. Choose better. That's the real legacy of that Saturday night. Not the fines or the ban or the gossip. But the wisdom bought through humiliation. The growth forced by crisis. The relationship strengthened by surviving what could have broken it. That's what I got from the worst decision I made in a mall stairwell. And somehow that makes it almost worth it.